I thought feminine energy was something you either had or you didn't, until I realized that I was actually just abandoning it hundreds of tiny times every single day without even realizing it. And it took me feeling completely disconnected and numb from myself and feeling like I just lost myself, that I lost my spark, to finally stop for a long enough time and to see what I've been doing all along and to change things. And in that process, I realized that knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. So if you've been feeling disconnected from yourself, like nothing excites you anymore, like you're constantly just getting things done, but not really feeling alive, not really feeling inspired, this video is going to break down the 5 micro habits that I was unknowingly doing that was draining the feminine energy out of me. Hi, this is Aditi. I talk about all things personal growth, manifestation, healing, transformation, feminine energy, mind body connection, and all those things to help you level up and live your best life. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, do subscribe and stick around. Because you might be doing exactly those same things without even realizing it. Because when I talk about feminine energy, I don't mean pretty clothes or a spa day or being soft and timid and girly, but what I mean is feminine energy is what makes you feel alive. It is about that sense of aliveness in life. It's what makes life interesting and joyful and fun and full of presence. So it's not big, obvious behaviors that you do or you don't do, but it's these tiny everyday habits that prioritize pleasure and aliveness and joy over simply getting things done, over simply making everything just outcome based. So if your life also feels very dull, very disconnected, like there's not enough joy, there's not enough spark anymore, you might be doing these exact same things. And once I talk about all these 5 things, we will discuss how all these follow the same bigger pattern. They actually connect back to one big thing, one major thing, and that is the root of not being able to tap into your joyful, playful, feminine side. So these are the 5 things that quietly stole away the joy and the presence and the aliveness from my life. Number one was leaving my body around other people. So anytime that I would be in a conversation or I'm talking to someone and or I'm out for a dinner, my focus would shift from myself to this other person, right? So I would no longer be connected to my body, to what I'm feeling, to what I want to say, but I would rather connect with what is this other person feeling, or are they feeling comfortable in my presence, right? So it would shift from my own body and move to this other person. So my attention was not in my body anymore, it was outside me, it was towards this other person or towards the event that is going on, but I would almost sort of leave my body and just focus on everyone else and everything else and monitor it other than my own self. Now, the second thing that happened was living with a constant sense of urgency. So I wasn't actually busy all the time, but everything that I would do, it would be done with the sense of rush and urgency, right? Like everything was an emergency, whether it be showering, whether it be eating, whether it be walking. It would just feel like everything is just a constant emergency and I have to get it done as fast as I can. So my body was constantly feeling this sense of danger, that it was in survival mode, that nothing is safe right now and I need to rush around and to do everything quickly and I cannot relax. So my body was getting the message that it's not safe, right? And I was living in a constant state of go, 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 even though I'm just having dinner with my friends or I'm just taking a shower, right? But I was not able to sort of relax and just ease into it and just enjoy the shower or enjoy the cake I'm eating. Everything would just be very quick and urgent. And of course, all of this was extremely subconscious. I did not realize I was doing this. It was just happening. It was very, very unconscious, and that's how it usually is. Now, the third thing was almost sort of a byproduct or a symptom of living with urgency all the time, where everything had to be productive, right? So everything was just a means to an end. I was not able to enjoy something just because I want to enjoy it. It was outcome driven, right? It was about what is this going to get me or how far is this taking me, right? So reading would become learning. Like I would not read fiction, I would only read non-fiction, self-help, because okay, that's gonna get me further in my career, that's gonna grow me as a person. But I was not able to read fiction just for enjoying the story, for being engrossed in the story and just having fun with it, because that was not productive. in my mind. Or something as simple as walking would become reaching my step goals and making sure that I hit 10K steps a day. And not something as simple as just walking in the nature because I want to be present, because I want to enjoy the nature, or I just want to clear my mind and just want to take a walk. Podcasts would become all about self improvement. I would not listen to anything that would probably be outside of my business, outside of self improvement. Or even if I have a hobby, like I love baking, and I did enjoy baking to some extent, but my mind would somewhere go to, okay, how do I monetize it? Or how do I make this 2 hours of baking more productive? Like, what can I get out of it, right? Instead of, how about I just enjoy those 2 hours, I just have fun with it, and just for the sake of it, right? Because fun is important in itself. But that is exactly what I had forgotten, that fun doesn't need to be justified, right? You can just go out there and have fun, because fun is life producing, right? Fun is what makes you feel alive. Now, the fourth thing was that I forgot how to move from within. So, all my movements would be very structured and would always be very outward focused, right? So, it would be gym with particular number of sets with this many exercises, this many reps, and everything was structured and planned out, and I just had to go and blindly do it. Or even cardio or walking, for example, would have a certain number to it, like, finish 30 minutes of it or do a 5K or whatever it might be. It would be very planned and structured, and that is good in itself, and you need that to get your fitness levels up, or if you're training for something particular. But what I'm trying to say is that there was no movement that came from within. I would not be able to just dance in the kitchen because I'm feeling that joy from within, or just stretch because it just feels so good to do a good long stretching session, or just walk because it's a beautiful day, right? So that movement that comes from within, that just makes you want to move, and it's not structured, it's not planned. It looks like shutting off your curtains and just dancing in a room because you feel like it, whether it is because you're stressed or whether it's because you're happy. But that is movement coming from within. It's not structured, it's not planned, it's not just, okay, getting this many reps in. It is just moving because you want to, because feminine energy thrives in movement that comes from the inside out, right? It is all about being moved from the inside out, because you are feeling a certain way, whether it be good or bad. But it is that internal sense of movement, right? That is what feminine energy is all about. But I had completely forgotten how to do that. But I was not prioritizing that small amount of time in the day to just move as I would like to move. And this was showing, right? I would feel a little bit happy after doing my gym workouts or my cardio sessions, but it would not make me feel alive at the soul level. It would not give that sense of just elated aliveness that I would feel if I was dancing in my room with no one to watch on random songs for just 10 minutes. And I could feel that, right? But only when I stopped for a good amount of time and noticed what I was doing wrong. Now, the fifth and the last thing is something that I still sort of struggle with, and it does take a little time to unlearn, but that is about not letting people help me. So everything was supposed to be done by me. It had to be done by me, because I would think that if I don't do it, it doesn't happen right. Or if I don't do it, it just doesn't happen in the way that I want it to, or it just doesn't happen at all. So there was some level of trust issues as well, when it came to trusting other people to take care of me or to support me in whatever way I wanted them to. And it looked like independence. It looked like, wow, I'm so sorted, I'm just doing everything myself. But it was actually a form of control, because I would not be able to trust others to do the things that I have asked them to do, or to trust them to take care of me in the way that I wanted them to. And control will block you from receiving, right? Not being able to trust that people can take care of you will block you from receiving. And feminine energy is all about receiving. It's about receptivity, about letting things in. But if I'm doing everything and I'm not allowing anyone else to help me, and I'm not receiving any help, then firstly I'm going to be burnt out, because I'm doing so much. I'm making posts, I'm making a website when I'm not supposed to. That's not really my forte. And I'm going to block myself from that feeling of, okay, you know what, I can let go and I can allow people to support me. So I am blocking myself from feeling receptive and from feeling supported, right? Two things that feminine energy will thrive on. Now, coming to the bigger pattern, and maybe you've noticed it too, but every single one of these 5 habits actually just pulled me further away from myself, right? So the root of the problem was disconnection with myself and my body. Every time I would leave my body and focus on this other person, I would be disconnected from myself. Every time I would do structured movements and planned movements and not movement that comes from within, I would pull further away from myself. Right, so all of these problems are somewhere, or let's say habit, they're not problems, well, but all of these habits are somewhere disconnecting you from yourself, from your intuition, from your body, and therefore from your sense of aliveness and joy and pleasure. Right, because if you're not connected to yourself, if you're not connected to your body, joy becomes inaccessible. Right, you cannot actually feel joy if you're not firstly present in your body. So the mind takes over and you are further and further disconnected from your own body and from being present in your own self. But the good news is that none of these are permanent. Right? These are just habits that you have picked up along the way. These are just some ways of being that your nervous system has learned and now is doing it on autopilot. But these can be changed, right? So every time you come back into your body, even if it's just for 5 minutes, and every time you just dance in the kitchen because you feel like dancing in the kitchen, and every time you slow down in the shower and just luxuriate in the water and allow yourself to really feel the warmth of the water and just enjoy the bath that you're taking, you are teaching your body a new way to be. Every time you choose to be present in your body instead of focusing on the other person, you are teaching your body a different way to be. You are teaching your nervous system a different way to be. And over time, this changes the way you move, the way you talk, and ultimately how alive you feel in your life. Because feminine energy is not something you build, it's not something you strive towards and create and build towards, but it's your natural essence that emerges once you allow it to emerge. Once you stop doing the things that block it, that drain it, it is just your natural essence that is bound to come out no matter what. So these habits don't change overnight, but they do. With enough patience and enough dedication and slow, tiny, tiny habits over a long period of time, it compounds and it completely changes the way you feel in your life, how alive you feel in your life, and how connected you feel to your own self. Because that is at the very root of everything, not just feminine energy, but it's about how much you are able to attract into your life. It connects to how much you emotionally eat, it connects to how healed you feel, it connects to how what kind of a partner you attract. So your connection with yourself is actually at the root of everything else, and these habits slowly compounding over time is the best way to build that connection with yourself over the long period of time. So I hope you found these relatable and you can see yourself doing at least two or three of these patterns, and you're going to make a commitment to change it slowly over time. Do let me know in the comments what resonated, and I would love to talk to you about what habit you are entrenched in and you want to really get out of it, and maybe I can help you do that as well. That's it for today, and I'll see you next time.